Hi, this is Frank Taylor with Nature at Your Door, and I'm out here in the Appalachian Mountains at about 2,700 feet at the end of August, and I found some fantastic mushrooms. These are called black-staining mushrooms, and this episode is going to be all about these guys and how not to confuse them with hen of the woods, Berkley's Polypore, or maybe even chicken of the woods. And we'll talk about its unique features, whether it's edible or not, and if it is, what can you do with it? Fantastic, beautiful mushroom. So stay tuned. Right here in your backyard. You never know what you're going to find. So here in the woods, there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4 of these florets of this mushroom coming up around this old oak tree. The black-staining polypore is often associated with oaks either as a saprophyte or a parasite. As a saprophyte, its mycelium feeds on dead and decaying parts of the oak tree that might also be the roots underneath the ground. It can also act as a parasite, where it parasitizes a live oak tree, and its mycelia penetrate either the tree or the roots and gain nutrition directly from the tree in that manner. There's some evidence that seems they're also associated sometimes with pine trees. And here I'm in the mix of a pine as well as scattered oaks through this forest. So it's a little mixed deciduous forest here. I can't get over the beauty of these mushrooms. The younger ones have these little funnels and trumpet-like structures that are coming up on the sides of them. This one here is probably 18 inches across, and there's a newer one that's just opening almost like a rose or a flower. I'm not a mushroom hunter by trade. I'm more a viewer of beautiful, awesome things in nature, and I'm not going to harvest this, even though it is considered to be an edible mushroom. Perhaps not a choice edible because it's very fibrous. It does turn black very quickly, and that's why it's called the black-staining polypore. So here are some pieces I cut off from the black-staining polypore, and you can see that they have certainly bruised up. And while not always black, they will brown. And you can see that this one has browned up all over. And look how dark black the bruised edges are. So that's what it'll do. It'll bruise up, it'll stain. It won't turn black or brown immediately, but give it a little bit of time and it will. And that's what will distinguish it from a Berkley polypore or any of the other polypores. You can see that some of these fronds also have black staining around the edges, and that's an indicator of the species. So let's take a quick look at some of these lookalikes. This is chicken of the woods, and you notice it has a bright orange color. It's similar to black-staining polypore with these very thick, heavy fronds. It's definitely not as fibrous. It has the orange color and will not stain black when you break it off. Hen of the woods is another potential lookalike, but to me the fronds are much finer and smaller and fan-shaped and don't have the big thickness of the black-staining polypore. And also it will not stain black when you break it, when you cut it open. Another mushroom that you might confuse with black-staining polypore is cauliflower mushroom, and it looks more like a brain coral than anything else. And again, doesn't stain black. So some people want to jokingly refer to this mushroom as rooster of the woods. So we've got hen of the woods, cow of the woods, and now we have rooster of the woods. When I break off a piece of a frond, and you can see some of the black here on the edges, and when we say black, we're usually meaning black or brown. Unlike some of the blue boletes that turn blue almost immediately, this doesn't turn brown or black instantly and usually comes in 30 minutes or more later. But you can see it's very, very, very fibrous. Oh, it has a wonderful mushroomy smell. This just smells like a deep, rich cream of mushroom soup. It's really just a fantastic smell. The folks that do eat this, and I need to throw in the disclaimer, if you're going to go out and collect mushrooms and you don't have experience, please go with an expert. Don't use books, don't use my video, don't use other videos. Go with an expert local in your area that can help you, and you'll learn so much faster and be so much safer, because there's many toxic mushrooms out there and toxic lookalikes. Now with these, very few toxic mushrooms look like this. Almost all the mushrooms in this group that have these features are edible. This, however, should be cooked, and even cooked, some mushrooms, even this one, can cause people some gastric discomfort. So you should actually try small amounts of a new mushroom. So looking at this, it's just really fibrous. I can peel these fibers apart. You can see these fibers. I had a tough time cutting this, actually, even with a knife when I took a sample the other day. So what most people do when they eat this is they'll cut this first ½ inch of the frond off and cook that part and eat that part. And they'll use the other parts to make deep broths. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door here in the Appalachian Mountains in the deciduous forest with the black-staining polypore. Remember, if you like what I do on this channel, please give me a like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. I love hearing from my viewers. And remember, I cover all things nature. Frogs, toads, snakes, turtles, myriapoda, insects, trees, wildflowers, and fungi. I cover all the things you might encounter just outside your door. So thanks again for watching this episode of Nature at Your Door.